Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee if you are new here, and every week I come on and make videos about what items I picked up at thrift stores and flipped online for a profit on sites like eBay and Poshmark. So today's video is going to be a what sold from last week video. I will share with you some of my sales numbers, a bit of a breakdown, and then I'll show you some highlighted items that I think would be great finds for you to pick up if you would also like to resell online. I am testing out a new mic, as you guys can see, so drop a comment down below. Let me know how this sounds. I was getting a lot of comments that it might be useful to have a mic so that you guys could hear me a little bit better. So we're going to try this out. First time using it, don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see. Let's jump into last week's sales.
All right, so everything on the sales sheet that I'm showing you happened between January 17th through the 23rd. That is a Sunday through a Saturday, and that is how I calculate my weeks. So last week I sold a total of 61 items for a gross sales total of $2,236.47, making my average sale price $36.66. Total cost of goods for everything that sold last week was $223.45, and then my average cost of goods last week was only $3.66 for everything that sold. Some reflections for last week. Just wanted to point out to anyone that might be new, gross sales is not what I put in my pocket. This is basically just what things sold for, including shipping. So shipping has to go out, cost of goods have to go out, and then my fees, of course. So for anybody new, just wanted to mention that for full transparency. We were listing our butts off this week, so that's why I think my sales really went up from the previous week. If you remember, sales last week were not great. Average sale price is right where I want it to be, between $30 and $40. And I am glad to see that as I've been sourcing and trying to be more strict about what I'm picking up, that is actually climbing towards $40. So really happy with that. On eBay, just full disclosure, and that's why I put this here, there were a couple items that have not been paid for yet. So on eBay, buyers can commit to buying something, but then have a couple days to pay for it. So there were 2 items included in this that have not been paid for yet. So just full disclosure. Okay, and on eBay, I sold a total of 44 items, including those 2 that haven't been paid for yet. Hopefully they'll pay soon. On Poshmark, I sold just 15 items, and then I did have 2 other sales on other platforms. One of them was Depop, one of them was Mercari, and I will show you both of those sales today because I know you guys are interested in what is selling on other platforms. Gross sales on eBay was about $1,700, on Poshmark just $450, and then on the other sites combined just $66. I list everything on eBay and Poshmark, and then only some things on these other sites. Mercari is the next one I'm trying to attack, so we're trying to get everything moved on over to Mercari, and I have been having a few sales over there. All right, we are now going to jump into some highlighted sales. I'm going to show you guys some of the items that sold last week. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys so that you can know some items to be on the lookout for while you guys are out at your thrift store. So first one is this Depop item. This is a pair of 9 West Western Mules. I actually did not realize that we put West 9 instead of 9 West. Don't know how that happened, but they still sold. These are a pair of like embossed leather Western Mules. They are vintage, and I would not pick up everything in this style in any brand. I really did my research on which brands sold for what, and this was just a really nice style, so I took a chance. I sold this for $24.50 plus I think it was $8.50 in shipping. So not a bad sale on a little pair of Western Mules. Typically I don't enjoy selling heels, but these ones caught my eye. I thought they were super trendy. This is the one item that sold on Mercari. This is a pair of blank NYC women's black Aster shorts, and I knew the style name because they were on the inside right here. Most blank NYC jeans and shorts have the style name here. So bottoms typically have the style, tops usually do not. And on Mercari, I always offer free shipping, so I just roll that into my cost. So these were listed for $35 with free shipping. Probably cost me less than $5 to ship. I do my own shipping. I don't use Mercari shipping because I think it costs more for the buyer and for me. And so these ended up selling for $35 with free shipping. I probably made about 27-ish dollars after all was said and done on this pair of shorts. Highly recommend you guys start picking up shorts for the spring and summer season. Shorts are one of those things, if you've got the right style, I don't really think brand matters. So I will be picking up a lot of those soon. But I did notice that Blank NYC does pretty well on Mercari. Moving on to my eBay sales, which is where the bulk of my income came from last week. This is an Adidas Trefoil hoodie. So I've really slowed down on what I pick up on Adidas, but I like looking for this Trefoil logo. So this logo right here, the like 3-leaf with the stripes through it, that's the logo or the types of items that you want to look for. So this sold really quickly. I had it listed at $27.91, sent out offers to watchers. It sold for $25.12, and it sold, like I said, very quickly within the same week that I listed it. So maybe I could have listed it for more, but I'm happy with where it sold. But look out for Adidas items with this logo. This is also a recent active listing. This is Liz Sport, which is not a brand I recommend you pick up. This is a vintage sweater, and the reason I picked this up was for the style. So vintage varsity / tennis sweaters do very well for me. Is a V-neck with a chunky cable knit detail, and typically there's going to be some contrasting lines on the V-neck, which makes it a tennis / varsity sweater. This one got a little washed out. We probably should have put this on a black background. However, it sold very, very quickly at my full asking price for $34.91, and that is typically, if it's not a brand that's pretty well known or really sought after, I'll typically list these for $35 regardless of brand. Some certain brands of vintage tennis sweaters can go for crazy amounts of money, but if you're at your thrift store and you're somebody who doesn't have great brands in your area, I would look for styles like these and always put varsity and tennis into your listing. Okay, I sold a couple of Under Armour pieces this week, and you're going to see a theme. Highly recommend you look for Under Armour collaborations with camo brands. I guess not really camo brands, more like hunting brands, but anything Under Armour and camo has been doing extremely well for me, and I noticed a really outstanding sell-through rate. This one did not sell for a ton. This is a collaboration with Mossy Oak, and this was just a loose men's size large cold gear quarter zip pullover. This sold very quickly at my full asking price for $24.91. And then this one did bring some really great money. This was a collaboration with Realtree, men's size large, and this was just lined with camo. However, the outside of this was pretty cool. It had very obvious Under Armour branding and a really nice like forest green color and another patch on the back. So Realtree is like a hunting camo gear kind of brand. And when I looked up Under Armour Realtree camo vests, they were doing extremely well. I did not see this particular style, so I kind of had to take a guess on pricing. Listed this one for $59.91, sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $53.92. Next time I wanted to show you was this Ed Hardy women's hoodie. I've mentioned it before, but Ed Hardy is pretty trendy right now. You want to look for the older styles that are pretty, out there, a little wacky, are probably the ones that are going to sell the most for you. So this one I've been sitting on for a few weeks, but to be fair, I did have this listed pretty high. I had this listed on the higher end at $85. This is just an embroidered women's semi-vintage hoodie. I didn't put vintage because I wasn't sure how old it was, but it did have the spell out and crazy embroidery all over it. So I had it listed at $85. I sent out offers to watchers, and it sold for $76.50. I sold this J. McLaughlin women's dress. I took somewhat of a chance on this. J. McLaughlin, get familiar with this tag and with this name, because this tag, for the longest time, I did not pick up this brand because the tag doesn't look like anything special to me. but they are very comparable to Lilly Pulitzer, where they sell a lot of really nice, bright, colorful, multicolor print like tops and dresses. And usually I'll only pick up their, tops if they're really nice floral multicolor. This was something different for this brand, and so I wasn't sure how quickly it would sell. I took a chance on it. I called it a luxe chain print dress. This is chain print if you're not familiar with it. And I noticed that in certain brands, chain print can do extremely well. This sold very quickly to my surprise. I had it listed for $39.91 and it sold for $35.92. But I definitely wanted to show you guys this tag if you're not familiar with J. McLaughlin. I sold a couple of LL Bean items. If you guys watch my hauls, you know I love picking up LL Bean. They are tried and true brand for me, and they sell for really good money depending on the piece you pick up. So this is a women's cotton cable knit sweater. Nothing special, just made out of cotton, but it did have cable knit, and it was LL Bean, which adds value. Had this listed for $27.99, and it sold at my full asking price. I also sold this woman's LL Bean item. This is a vintage fleece, like button-up cardigan jacket, Sherpa-like material. And this had some like Nordic Fair Isle print on it, which I definitely think helped to sell it. I feel like a lot of people pass on items like this at the thrift store because they don't think much of LL Bean or they think this looks too old. But I'm telling you guys, this brand sells so well. Just do really specific comps while you're at the thrift store. So this one I had listed at $34.91 and it did sell at my full asking price. Here's a brand I recently started picking up more frequently. Well, actually, I just really started coming across it more frequently, but I did not realize how great of a brand it was. And it is called Carbon to Cobalt. Kind of another one of those tags I don't feel looks like anything special, but some of this stuff goes for great amounts of money, and it does have a really great sell-through rate. These shirts do not go for crazy amounts, but they sell really quickly. This is just a men's plaid button-up shirt, and it did sell for my full asking price at $24.91. I've sold leather jackets by this brand for hundreds of dollars, and those are highly sought after. But this brand in general just has a really, really great sell-through rate, so I pretty much pick up anything in this brand. It just flies. Speaking of brands that fly, this is Torrid. Also love picking up this brand for that same reason. They make really great plus-size pieces as well, so it helps me to have a pretty size-inclusive closet and store. So this is a 2, which is 2X. Really nice, pretty peplum top. I've actually sold this exact top before. I have this listed at $29.91 with free shipping. Probably only cost me $34 to ship, but it did sell on an offer that I sent out for $26.92. This is a Kimmy and Kin, which is a brand sold at Anthropologie. Don't pick up everything in this brand. This is actually a size extra small petite, which is an extremely, extremely small and kind of weird size. But I decided to pick this up because of its bohemian, like shirt dress nature. I just thought it was kind of cool. Took a chance on it, had it listed for $34.87. It sold for $31.38 with free shipping. I also do not pick up everything by Dansko, but these were really unique and in really great shape. So these are a pair of leather Mary Janes. And Dansko is always going to give you the European sizing, so you have to go to their size chart to figure out the US sizing, which is usually given in like this one converted to a 9.5 to 10, so they're like an in-between size. So that's why it says that there if you were confused. But that's what their size chart says, so that's what I put in there. A lot of people search them on pre-owned sites with their European sizing, because if they're a big fan of Dansko's, they probably know their European size. So I try to always put that into my title, as well as the US size. So again, these were just a pair of really nice, great condition, unique Mary Jane Dansko's. These I have listed at $39.91. They sold on an offer for $35.92. These next two pieces were both by the same brand, and they actually went to the same person in one shipment, and they are both by the brand Rule number 925, which is an Abercrombie & Fitch brand, I believe, that is no longer sold. So some of these pieces can be extremely rare. I find that the men's pieces are the ones you want to pick up. The women's stuff does not perform as well, but the men's stuff does really great in this brand. I found 2 of these cashmere sweaters. Only one has sold so far, I believe, but I have this listed at $49.91. And I also had these pair of jeans listed at $39.91. These are a pair of the Mercer low-rise boot, which is a great style to pick up in this brand. If you do come across these jeans, the style name is typically in the inside of the fly, which is a weird place to put a style, but that's where you can usually find it. So the buyer bought both of these. He did purchase these outright, and he got an offer sent to him for the jeans for $35.92. So he essentially purchased both of those and got $4 off. But excellent brand to look for in men's pieces. Just make sure to do your comps. This is a Chico's, which is another brand I'm pretty careful about these days, but this was a black label, which I guess is a line off of Chico's, and this is a lace bomber jacket with some sequins. I've been having really good luck in many different brands with this like lacy, sequiny bomber jacket style, so that's why I kind of looked this up. Plus it was the black label line, which in Chico's I guess is a really good line. So I had this one listed for $34.91, and it did sell at my full asking price. Last item on eBay I wanted to show you were these Nike women's Huarache shoes. Now, I picked these up not realizing a major flaw on them, which is definitely my fault, but they would have definitely sold for more had I realized it. There was a laceration, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but right here that I did not realize. I must have been in a hurry. If you come across this style at your thrift store, definitely worth picking up. You know, obviously do a better job than I did at looking at the flaws, but even with that major flaw, these sold still for my full asking price of $29.91. Had there not been that flaw, I think I could have sold them closer to $40. But keep your eye out for Nike Huarache sneakers. I mean, they're pretty, the style's pretty recognizable, but also on the tongue, it also says Huarache. Okay, moving on to Poshmark. I sold this The Mountain shirt, which I showed you guys in both a thrift with me and a haul. And a viewer of the channel actually purchased this. Thank you so much. Been in communication with them and got it shipped out for them. And thank you to everyone who has purchased stuff from me, whether you have said something or you haven't. I really appreciate you guys purchasing things either directly or on these platforms, and feel free to always reach out to me if you don't see them listed yet. So this is by the brand The Mountain. I don't pick up everything in these, but this was a more rare shirt. I haven't come across one like this before. They're pretty easy to look up because you can just look up the content on the graphic. So I looked up wolf shirts and found out that there were a couple that were similar to this, but none exactly like this. And the ones that were similar had Native American women in it too, so I put that in my title. So like I said, this sold to a viewer. I had this listed at $35 and they purchased it outright. Thank you so much for that. I would definitely keep your eye out for certain The Mountain pieces if you come across them. Here's another LL Bean item. This is a men's vintage Henley shirt. This was a cotton wool blend. And as you can see, it was a little bit worn in, but still in really excellent condition. This is another one of those pieces I feel like a bunch of people would pass on, but this sold for $50 really, really quickly, which is amazing money for LL Bean. So again, guys, don't pass on LL Bean. This is a pair of Title IX pants. I have been sitting on these for a little while, but to be fair, they were capris. And we're just now, you know, people are starting to buy stuff for spring, so I think that's why I had to wait. This is the logo, which doesn't look like much, but that's why I wanted to show you guys this. So Title IX is a great brand for me. It does pretty well. They sell a lot of activewear pieces, so keep your eye out for that. These sold for $31. This is a men's Tommy Bahama shirt. I pass on most Tommy Bahama, but they're silk shirts with really nice prints I tend to pick up. This was a long sleeve, so a more substantial piece, and it had a really, really nice, pretty pattern on it. and this was a cotton silk blend. This sold for $40. This is a pair of women's can jeans. I just recently started picking this brand up, and I try to stick to the more modern styles, which would be like the skinny jeans, and these ones were a really nice color. They sold for $30. This is a Pendleton wool western crossbody bag. I love Pendleton in general, but I could not believe somebody donated a new with tags Pendleton bag. I actually did not realize when I picked this up that there was a small little spot where the wool had been worn off on the back here, and you'll see I noted that. But other than that, it was new with tags, and anything with a Western or Aztec-y like print in Pendleton adds extreme value. So I got $45 for this. I listed a little bit lower than I would have had that fall not been there, but a really great piece to pick up. So if you're not already picking up Pendleton, definitely look out for Pendleton, especially in those Western pieces. This is just a Madewell sweater. I was able to look up the style name. It was called the Brownstone Pullover. You guys can look up style numbers 2 in this brand. I'll link that video up above. But definitely keep your eye out for more substantial, more unique Madewell pieces. This brand is getting harder and harder to sell, so I do think it's pretty important to look up the style number on the inside. That way you can do specific comps. This sweater in particular was a nicer style, and it sold for $33. And lastly was this vintage faux leather bag. It had a Navajo bird kind of design on the front. This was a really popular bag. I actually picked this up from someone on eBay or Poshmark for much cheaper because I thought it was cool and it went along with that bohemian like Western trend. Very unique. All of these bags that I picked up from other people had this kind of style, and I made sure to model them to add value. So I think sometimes when you style items, it can help to add value to the item. Listed these really high and we're accepting offers. This one sold for $45. And again, I picked this up solely off of style.
All right, guys, so that is it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how your sales are going for you. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.